We are building a model railroad system. In the last episode, we had a look at various items that we can use to model the landscape. We want to create a mountain here, and over there we want a sort of a rural landscape. And more. Last time I've shown you this little diorama, which was my practice project. I've used construction boards by Heki. These are very special styrodur materials that we have here. We have planted this artificial lawn on it to make it look like grass, and we have also grassed it with green flock medium. This alone took several hours, and doing this for the whole railroad system is going to be a piece of art. We have used concrete paint here, and we have finished that with regular water paint. What I forgot last episode, I wanted to show you how to create a rough concrete surface. Look here, that's a special wire brush. Be careful, don't use it for your teeth. By using this, you can work the surface and roughen it up. With this, you can create this typical concrete surface. You could also model the platform with this. You can use this to model the surface of the platform. Make it rough and then paint over with concrete paint. Just like I have prepared it here. This may also be an industrial area. That's what I did, paint it with concrete paint after you roughened it up. And afterwards, paint over it with watercolor, using a very wet paintbrush. That way you can create this typical concrete structure, as you can see here on the surface. It is very rough and very dirty. It's made to look old and rotten on purpose. Using this, you can give your model railroad system a nice touch. Alright, I have also prepared something else. I didn't tell you last time, but at some point we want some green color all around. That's why I brought some trees with me. Maybe you are in the same position as I am right now. I still don't know where exactly I want my houses to stand or where my tunnel should be. I'm still planning, and also I'm still waiting for suggestions from you in the commentaries. I'm still in doubt what else could be done. So right now I'm spending my time preparing stuff. So I started to build a tree. Here we have a tree. It is halfway finished. And the basis for this can be seen here. That's a pine tree construction kit. They are still very shiny and still look very new, brand new even. In order to make them look older, I used the same concrete paint that I used for these boards. Before the paintbrush was completely dry, I used it to brush over this tree. So use your almost dry concrete paintbrush to brush over these trees. At the end, that way, these trees get this nuance. We don't want to make it look like concrete, but just a little colored like concrete. And after that, you can take this flock medium and lightly pull it over the tree. Let me show you. Just pull it over there to make it hold longer. You can use this special flock medium glue. You take a very small amount and coat the whole tree with it. And afterwards, you can carefully pull over the flock medium. And when the trees are looking like autumn, spring, or even winter, it just looks wonderful. And yes, you can build a winter scenery. Simply use bare trees and some snow flock medium. On this diorama, you can see the finished result. That's the same principle. Here you can see a finished tree. It's the same technique. I took a construction kit and glued the flock medium to it. That's what it looks like when it's finished. You can also take the tree apart and create bushes with it. You can do that as well. While we are thinking and building trees, we can start to give this whole thing more structure. I have unpacked this tunnel wall. I will need about 4 walls in total. I'm sure I will need them in the curve. I still don't know exactly where, but I can still prepare it. I have unpacked this tunnel portal by Noch, made out of rigged foam. And here I have bought 2 rigged foam tunnel interior walls that I can glue on like this. Instead of this tunnel wall, I could use this special foil by Faller. I could use this paper to shape the interior wall like this. You can insert it like this and then measure it. Maybe glue it together down here and glue it to this piece like that. You can also fix it with wood. You could also use a construction board like this and draw the contour on it. Cut it out, and then we have a kind of frame to which we can attach this paper. Depending on whether you want to have a brick wall or a rock wall in your tunnel, you can choose one of these two possibilities. You can get these papers with other illustrations as well, like stone, concrete or whatever. I will use a hot glue gun now for what I am planning. Now I want my tunnel to stand around here. And I have a curve that goes to the left. Now I have to check which way around I have to insert my tunnel walls. Now this way they bend to the left. I hope you can see that. I can put it on there now. Let me take the hot glue gun and glue this one on there. And I glue that to the outside as far as possible. I could glue it even more to the inside, but I still want my train to be able to pass through. My ICE is rather big and I want it to go around the curve. Now you can buy special ICE portals as well. Faller has very nice ones. If you want it, they look very modern. In real life, the ICE would not pass through such a stone portal, but through a modern ICE portal. But maybe the ICE isn't the only train on the track. Maybe there's still some room left for this little steam locomotive. Depending on what you have planned, you can buy all kinds of different products. This tunnel wall is ready. Next is the other side. Put some glue on there and you can see the hot glue gun is a universal tool. You should get one. The manufacturer doesn't matter. And now press it tight. Best down here to make sure it is stable later on. And of course we want our train to pass through there without any troubles. That's looking good so far. As you can see, that's not standing firm. I might have to glue it to the wood board. I could also use a construction board like this one and build a substructure. That way could add some stability to the tunnel. We can cut out the rail route afterwards. That must be stable, since we want to pack some more stuff on top later. But I can already imagine that very nicely. I turn off the hot glue gun for now. I don't want it to be on for too long. I could have also used this tunnel entrance here, and I could have attached the tunnel walls to it as well. I will need that down here, maybe right here, where the driveway is broader. I will have to think about that later. These tunnel parts are completely compatible. You could have attached these here as well. So that's much nicer to look at. That's all about interior tunnel walls. I have something else planned for this episode. Last time I said we will finish the electronic parts first before we start with the landscaping. And then I remembered that we still could add quite fun stuff. I will place this platform aside now. I've noticed that we have a very nice side track area here. And then I looked at the track plan. Well, let me take down this part first. I have to unscrew it first. Let's pick a screwdriver. Here you can see the small track screw. At the end, I will screw tight all of these tracks. But now I want to show you something. I'll take off these tracks and then you will see that we can do something very nice due to the geometry of the tracks. On this tracks, this is the number 172 is written on, and the same track too is for this track. There are also shorter tracks. Here we have a 077, it's 77 millimeters long. And we have combined a 77 track with a 94 track. Let's see, okay, the bumper is a little bit shorter. Anyway, some tracks are 94 millimeters long, like certain contact tracks. Or this little fellow here, that's an electric uncoupler track. That has just the right length. We can use this to couple and uncouple wagons from the locomotive. We can do that by hand with a manual lever, or we can do this electrically if you connect a decoder to it. Here we have two wires and we can connect these to a turnout decoder, the so-called M83. Here we have installed the turnout decoder in the turnout. That works just fine here. But you could also use big types of decoders. I don't have one here, but they look similar to this one. That's the M48, the signal decoder. But you also can buy the turnout decoder, and they look very similar to it. You can then put it anywhere under the system, and you can use them to work the turnouts. So this is the M48. You can use it for signals. You can also use it for lighting articles. We will need that later again in a different episode. You can get this one as well as an M38. And with this, you can switch impulses. An impulse like turn on power briefly to work a turnout left or right. We don't need that here because we have a turnout installation decoder, but we could use it to control an uncoupler track like this. You can press here by hand, that pushes up this bar, or you could trigger that electrically. You could use your mobile station later and let the bar go up electrically. It's the same button that you use for working out turnouts. That way, you can uncouple a wagon automatically. As I have just explained, that item fits perfectly in there from the geometry. This has the same length as a 172 track. Now I have to decide where the best position for the uncoupling track would be. Right in front of the bumper would be too close. Maybe I can let my locomotive pass by this turnout and let it move one or several wagons as far back as possible. After that, I could uncouple it and let the locomotive exit. That could work. Let's try that out. Now, here will be the platform. That's not good. I would press down this thing all the time. I'll take it out again and place it on the other side. Here would be room for a lantern, but we won't do that now. We insert it on this side. This is my short track, and next is the long track. Now I can screw the tracks tight again. I'll take this track instead. I already drilled a hole in here. Now I attach the bumper. Now I can screw this tight. The uncoupling track is in position. Since I screwed it tight, it will stay here. And make sure you screw in the screw completely, otherwise the grinder might get stuck on it. Now I'll need a locomotive. Let me look for one. Here I have this steam locomotive, and next I need a wagon. I'll disappear for a second. I'll get one. Here I have two small wagons. They have room on this section. I can press here and you can see the bar moves up. I hope you can see it. Let me take this wagon and I'll show you on the other side. Here this bar moves up and uncouples the wagon. So the wagons would be separated. Here I have coupled them and I let them pass over, and now they are uncoupled. Here they are together, and this way they get separated. You can trigger that electrically, and with the mobile station you can let the bar stay up for a longer time. This way you can ensure that the wagons will be coupled or uncoupled in a realistic and correct way. Now that's one possibility. We will drill a hole here and pull through this wire. That way everything is tidy, and I still have to buy the decoder. I have to order it or buy it at the shop. And right here I will drill a hole and pull through the wire. Alright, so the uncoupler track is 94 millimeters long, so 9.4 centimeters. And we combine it with a track of 77 millimeters length. That sums up to a 172 track. If I combine a 9/4 track with a second 9/4 track, it will result in a 188 track. That way you have a longer track. Sometimes you have a combination of short and long tracks, and that way you can balance out the track geometry. Now pull the wire through. The blue and yellow wire will be connected to a digital decoder later. I won't do that now. I will leave that for another episode. And this wire here will be concealed later on. I will use plaster or ballast. We will fill out this complete area with ballast. But right now the platform will conceal most of it. It's tight, but it looks very good so far. We can work with that. The train station and the platform are back in place. Very nice. It's very nice to have this uncoupler track. Let's try it out with a locomotive. I will choose my locomotive. No, that's the ICE. And here I have my steam locomotive. I'll take it for a ride. Now it's going backwards. Well, there was no current, but now it works. Still no current. The track might be dirty. All right, now I can work my turnout. I think it was number 3. I'll show you on the keyboard. That's turnout 3. So we have the number 4 here. I can let my steam locomotive exit here and I can uncouple the second wagon, for example. Demonstration effect, of course. Now it worked. It is not exactly level, as you can see. That's why it didn't work the first time. There is also a second possibility. We can uncouple directly at the locomotive. We have a special locomotive. Let me show that to you. If you like this uncoupler track, you can also do the following. The locomotive has a special coupling. I can uncouple the wagon directly with this uncoupler track, like this. The second wagon, like this, the second wagon is separated now. But I can also do that without the decoupler track. On the mobile station, I can find this little symbol. That's the symbol for the tailix coupling. Tailix coupling means that I can open it and then the coupling of the locomotive opens automatically. I let it drive back a little and set the workout to divergent. Now I'll exit with the locomotive. Now I let the locomotive drive back again. Did you see it? I drove on the wrong track. I'll make this train accident disappear. Alright, now it worked perfectly. Let's couple it again. That's the famous coupling waltz. Hit it with some speed and then drive back, and now we repeat the coupling waltz. And here we go, the locomotive drives on alone. If you still have the choice for your model railroad, such an uncoupler track is always a nice piece of equipment to have, especially if you want to couple or uncouple 2 wagons, since you cannot do that with the locomotive automatically. For that you can install this special track somewhere. And you can toggle this special track electrically with the mobile station and an M83 decoder. Maybe I will show you in one of our next episodes how to do that. You are also welcome to watch the tutorial video on the Märklin homepage or on the YouTube channel. Or you choose a locomotive with a tailix coupling. That way you can couple and uncouple the wagons from the locomotive, as I have just demonstrated. Then you can do that anywhere on your railroad system. One track is free now. I'll put that aside, and I'm still thinking about what to do here landscape-wise. I have installed the uncoupler track and I have glued the tunnel portal. Here it is. I have to fix that next. Let's see where the tunnel should start. Here or maybe there. I'm a big fan of building mountains, but the downside is that you probably hide most of the railroad and trains inside the mountain. Then you have a beautiful model railroad, but everything is covered by a big mountain. So I think I will reduce the mountain and place it over there. Right here, just outside the picture. Maybe I also have a tunnel here, or maybe I will let the tunnel start here. I think that would look very nice, maybe as well here. That way you would see much more from the model railroad. We still have to do a lot of planning. Maybe I can finish some more houses until the next episode, and also the substructure over there. So stay tuned and take a look at the channel. If you have any questions about building a model railroad, we will answer all your questions in the commentaries. If you have any special questions about the models or the railroad planning, the Märklin team will help to answer the questions as well. Take care and see you next time in the next episode. Goodbye.